What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Arts Department. Happy Wednesday to you. We are back once again with the Cthulu drawing. Wednesday evening session, as it were. Hope your day went well. Hope your evening is chill and you're having a good one. I'm doing all right. Can't complain. You know, life is good in my little cave, so to speak. So tonight, as the title says, we'll be doing some speed thumbs, and we'll be working on this Cthulhu piece. Fit in the screen there and moving things along. So with the speed thumbs, I think what I'm gonna start off with the speed thumbs just to kind of loosen up a little bit, do some painterly stuff. I prepared a couple of templates. Good evening and Alfredo. Welcome back to the Arts Department. How was your day? So I was either going to use this template, which has a lot of different kind of proportions on it, kind of erring on the side of elongated, right? Or I was going to use the 16 by 9 and the 2.39 to 1 ratio. 16 by 9 being your standard widened screen TV or something like that, and the 2.39 to 1 is CinemaScope style. So the idea behind that is to have a little timer up like that and just hit start and start drawing. Unfortunately, I can't keep that timer on top if I'm popping open Photoshop, so it's going to be on another screen when I do it. You will hear the timer go off though. So we might start with a few of these just to get rolling, because I haven't done them in a while. I was looking through some older work and I saw them and I was like, oh yeah, hey, that's actually a really good way to kind of stimulate some ideas for bigger, longer scope pieces. So I thought I'd show you guys what that looks like. Generally, I like to use the calligraphy brush with the rotation. I'm gonna get that out of the way because it doesn't really matter. One thing I do want to do though is to do a couple arrange. Let's do a 2 up vertical. There we go. That way I can show the Cthulhu piece a little bit while we do some work. What was everyone up to this crazy Wednesday? Now, one moment here, folks. One moment. Okay. Still getting messages from people. So, let's put a minute on the clock and make sure we're using, let's start So generally I'll start with the speed thumbs, I'll start with something kind of landscapey, right? So I'll do like background to foreground, and the background will be lighter in color, and the foreground's gonna be a little more contrasty. So, 1 minute, here we go, start. So, I'm just gonna pick an area, and I'm just gonna start kinda putting in some shapes, and like I said, I'm thinking about landscape, so I'm gonna start way back there with maybe some clouds and stuff. I'm gonna go a little bit darker, and make my brush smaller and diagonal, and I'm just gonna kinda smash in some landscape. And as you can see, with the opacity, the pressure setting, it kind of does a lot of the work for me, right? Then I go a little bit darker and come into some foreground stuff. And then make my brush horizontal and select some lighter stuff and put in a ground plane. And there you go. 1 minute. What up, Martest? Welcome back to the Arts Department. So we got that. Let's do another one. I think I'm gonna give myself another minute on the clock since I'm so rusty at these and I'm streaming it. So let's do a quick one here. And I'm thinking about design, right? So I'm gonna hit start. I'm gonna get to it. So very quickly trying to work in some elements that could mean something, could be something, but they're not too prescriptive, right? Maybe rotate it a little bit and get like and now I'm starting to get into like, okay, so there's like a long pathway and something at the end of the long pathway. At least I see that much. So I'm gonna put maybe some people on it, and you can see that it's just like these teeny tiny marks, right? And I'm sure, absolutely positive, if I blow this up at all, it's gonna be unintelligible, right? It's just gonna be some marks. But what it is it's laying the foundation for the ideas for a big, huge illustration when I have time. When I have the inclination also, right? Like it can't just be, oh, hey, that we're gonna turn every single one of these into an illustration. It's, if there's a good enough idea, then we grab it and turn it into something long form. So, and 3, 2, 1. Okay, so as 2 minutes is a little more manageable right now. Maybe especially for something that small. I actually had pulled out from one of my older ones from a few years back an image that I think I'm going to work on stream. See if I can find it here real quick. Nope. Sort by date. Sort by date is the easy way to find stuff that you worked on today. There we go. So this one, I think, has the potential to be something really cool. I tried a while ago to push it further and never got anywhere. And then recently, you saw me kind of referencing back to that with the Fiend that we did on during Halloween, right? Or during October. Referencing that composition, but I don't think it was as cool. And I think this one has potential to be something actually pretty dope. So we'll move into that at some point after we do all this other stuff, like finish up the Cthulhu thing. So, let's start back up that timer. Reset, start, and now I'm gonna start with something dark. And I'm just gonna kind of get some shapes in there. And this is like using the pressure sensitivity to kind of build up a little bit. So if you don't have it on a white background, it's gonna be a little bit challenging. But you can get some interesting shapes and shape dynamics going by just using a chisel brush and kind of working back and forth into it, right? And then grabbing some white. And it doesn't really mean anything, right? It's just like looking at shapes. And the reason that I'm going more with the landscape layout is or the landscape drawings is because of the layout. Easy 87, what up? Welcome back to the arts department, my friend. So this speed thumb thing really lends itself to kind of ideating landscapes and fantasy and that sort of thing, right? So this could just be the beginning of like a town or something where everything is slanted, like to kind of combat maybe weather patterns or something like that, right? How's everybody's Wednesday going? So far so good, I hope. So, there we go. Reset that bad boy. And let's do another landscapey one. We'll do this one right here. Everyone's so quiet tonight. What's going on, everybody? Y'all doing okay? Busy with projects? Hopefully you're being creative. Or maybe you're vegging out, and that's just as important. All right, Start the timer, 2 minutes, let's go. So the thing about these is, like, the more that you do them, the more you kind of notice your shape patterns. Haven't done them in a while, so obviously I'm not kind of locked into what I was doing before. So it's there's more interesting things going on than what I used to do, I think. I don't know. Or maybe they're not as interesting, and I'd have to go back through and look through the stacks of them that I had. So I used to do them like every morning a little bit, and got a ton of interesting ideas for interesting, what I would consider concepts and stuff. But life being what it is, I never really followed through on a bunch of them, just a few of them here and there. But it definitely is something that I could, at any point, go back, pop open the Photoshop file, just do a selection and drop it into a new file and get going on it, if they were compelling enough. And there is certainly some things in there that I want to, in amongst the hundreds of these things that I have, that I want to get to and do some kind of design and stuff over, and some actual illustration over. So essentially this just boils down to sketching, right? We're just kind of knocking in some stuff, sketches, to kind of get the juices flowing. All right. Reset that timer. And let's set this big square up here. It's a different kind of format, so like maybe approach it differently. I don't know. Start this bad boy. All right, let's grab the black and make this brush kind of big. Kind of putting it in the center of the composition there. Getting into some of the other ones because it's all on a layer below the template, right? Oh, why, thank you, Cammy. I am feeling anything but, quite honestly. My stomach has been so bad this week, it's like attempting to kill me. So my energy levels are like, whoa. But hopefully I'm on the upswing. How are you doing tonight, Cammy? Feeling recovered from your crazy amount of work that you had to do? See, I had this idea, like space guy kind of idea, but I don't know that it's reading. Obviously, you know, a 2-minute sketch, you're not going to get much out of it. You know, oh, sorry, let me stop that. That's got to be extremely annoying. If that were really the case, I would take them up on stuff so fast. Got this stupid stomach that just decides that it's going to take me out for a few days at a time. I mean, honestly, it's probably my fault for having cashews, too many cashews in a row. As Daniel says to me, those things are not good for you. Not in a large amounts. And I listen, and then all of a sudden I don't listen, and I pay the price when I don't listen because they're so tasty. Cashews, right? Yeah, I cheated on that one and did a little bit more, but you know, sometimes you got to do that to kind of lock in the idea that you have, so that when you come back to it, you see what you were trying to do. I've hardly eaten anything today because that's what I do when my stomach is bad. I just kind of let it go for a while. I don't know, maybe they are. Maybe I should try pistachios instead of cashews. Probably the same effect. I don't know. Daniel could tell us. His mom's Ayurvedic doctor. Really knows how to lock it down. Okay, that got the idea across. So, like, when I'm doing these thumbs, if I need to take more time, like if the idea pops out at me, or if I feel like I need to be a little more, fill it out some more so that the idea is more clear, then I do. I just take the extra time after the stopwatch is stopped, kind of flesh it out a little bit more so that when I come back to it, I can see what I was trying to say to myself. Thank you, Cammy, for that hydration redemption. Cheers, my friend. So, back to our 2-minute timer. I got nothing on this next one, so we're just gonna hit start and start drawing and see what happens. It's actually some of my favorite stuff is when I just like start putting some shapes down on the page and seeing what happens. Because it's reacting to, it's like my hand just making shapes and then reacting to what those shapes are by doing other shapes, and until it gets to a certain point, and then it turns into something with intent. Hey, there's the Heezy. Welcome back. Yeah, you know, sometimes that's how you have to do it. You have to lay some stuff down so that you have something to work with, right? And generally, I like to have intent in what I'm doing. Like, I feel like that it's always going to be stronger when you have intent, right? But with this kind of stuff, I think you get a lot of mileage out of it. Just being like marks on a page, because it allows your imagination to flourish and see what's there and then take it from there. So I'm looking at a couple of things with this, and that's like the shape of that dude and then the shape of the obelisk, whatever it is, and them being just big negative shapes, right? And I think that's kind of neat. Stop. Sheesh. Daniel, welcome. Enjoy your lurks, sir. Hello, Rick, Easy, Cammy, all you wonderful people. Welcome to the Arts Department. Glad to have you here, even if you're on alert. Always appreciate the views and the numbers. Helps us grow, keeps us growing. Here we grow. Rick, how's your evening going? Daniel, you're painting, so I'm not even going to ask how your evening is going. I know that your evening is going well, so. Oh, let's get that dark in there. I actually kind of like that. It has this kind of like light implication back there, as if there was some kind of like Borealis effect going on. Coriolis effect. Right? So it definitely says magic, right? Like there's this obelisk back here, and he's standing in front of it. So, just gonna adjust this a little bit so that his shape is a little more interesting. Auroral effect? Yeah, sure. Why not that? And then I'm going to put some marks on here that kind of indicate that there's some writing and stuff that light is catching off of, right? And I'm just breaking it up so that it looks like writing or whatever. It's all the indications so that I can come back later and mess with it. So, that one's done. How about another one? This is going to be this big one here. My chat loves me. It's wonderful. Auroral. Auroral. I know how to say Auroral. Aurora is my niece's name. Of course I know how to say her name. Got nothing but love for that little lady. So, on to this next one. Let's hit the start button on that timer. 2 minutes on the clock. Here we go. So a strong composition is either a triangle or an inverted triangle. So you can't go wrong by forcing the eye down the center of the composition in a triangle, right? I mean, you can, obviously, if that's not your intent. But it's a good place to start with something that's large. Yep. So then I'm going to move that up. See, I did this kind of backwards. I probably should have started with this background stuff first, but make do, and that's, just teaches you how to kind of roll with the punches on this stuff. I mean, super standard composition. But you have to do this kind of stuff sometimes because it helps you when it comes to seeing the stuff that makes it a standard composition and saying, is this my intent? Is this the reason or is this the thing that I'm trying to say with this? And is there a better way to say this that's more interesting? Or am I going for that iconic image that people will look at and be like, oh, it's this or it's that? right? So people look at it and they're like, it's a castle. I know a castle when I see it, right? So just indicating that there's forests around this. Oh, shut up, you stupid timer. Reset. So, gonna finish out my indications, and we'll call that one done. You can put this in front of that river shape a little bit, and have it in front there, and receding off into the distance. Make the brush a little smaller as it recedes back, and just barely tap them in there. And yeah, not bad, right? It's your part that refers to lights. Borealis is a reference to the god of the north wind in Greek myth. Ooh, I didn't know that about Borealis. That's new and different. Yeah, I like mythology too, definitely. Did you watch that show on Netflix, Myths and Legends? It was actually, I had started watching it and then kind of tapered off near the end of the season. But it's pretty cool because it goes in and it talks about myths and how myths are formed and how they perpetuate and how they define cultures. And it's super, super interesting. It's a really great show. Loved it. Anyway, I actually was just watching one of the last 2 episodes Monday, I think, during my lunch break from work. Super into mythology. Never remember any of them. Like remember bits and pieces and that sort of thing, but like I can't get a bunch of myths to stick in my brain. Oh yeah, an ovuil, it's totally your thing. And it's actually, I mean, it's got great art in it where they'll take like some classical things that were painted and they'll like rip out the figures and have them like slightly animated and moving as they're narrating. And then there's also a modern person that did some like cutscene stuff for it that's animated, and it's well done. It's very well done. I'll probably watch Myths and Legends. It's on Netflix, and it is worth a watch if you're into myths and legends, if you need a creative prompt, or if you are a writer, or if you are into studying cultures at all. So it's definitely the type of thing where you probably want to watch one and like digest it, because it's got some information in it that you might want to use, right? A shining endorsement, Rick. Absolutely. All right. I'm stalling as I'm waiting for something in the back of my brain to come forward and be like, hey, draw this. It's interesting because I like this idea, but I know I can do it more interestingly, right? Like I can do something like it's the root of the idea, it's the seed of it, and I know that I can really push it if I push the design aspects of it. I can get it probably looking along the lines of the Cthulu thing. So, I would like to take cultural anthropology courses as much as I hate people in general. Fascinated by different cultures. Actually, in Oakville, I took one of my general ed classes at Santa Barbara City was cultural anthropology, and I was surprisingly obsessed with that class. Like that was one of the interestingly Nico Sanchez, welcome back to the arts department, my brother. Yeah, so it was one of those classes where I went in just like, I'm just gonna take this class, it'll be throwaway, and I ended up just being totally into it, got an A in the class and everything. Just I love Lush forest. Hey, thanks, Cammy. Maybe we'll do that in the big horizontal one at the bottom. Oh, shnikes. Maybe it is myths and monsters. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, probably myths and monsters, not myths and legends. My bad. See, I'm really good with names. Yeah. Nico, how you been, buddy? Haven't seen you for a while. You talk, I'm gonna hit start on this timer, and we're gonna make it happen. Man, was that the end of that playlist? Why is that playlist so short? No likey. Yeah. Busy is good, right? We like busy. Keeps us hustling. Start. Ooh, puppy. What kind of puppy? You should probably post them up in the Discord, buddy. For those that don't know, Discord, now you know. We like puppies. Said it last stream, I'm more of a cat person, but I appreciate dogs. Dogs are good. I've known a few very nice dogs in my day. So with these, I am still keeping in mind general design, composition, and balance principles, right? So trying to think about the amount of darks and blacks on the page and the amount of midtones on a page, and making a statement, be it that there's more mids or there's more darks, but you know, looking for that 5-3-1 balance. So that balance being more of one, less of the next, and less of the next. By that I mean tones and values and shapes, right? So a lot of small shapes or a lot of large shapes, and then not as many small shapes. Okay, timer. Shh, 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 shh. That thing needs to just like go off 3 times and then stop. Is that because you don't have to take them outside? Okay, so Cammy, I think we could probably do a foresty one for this tall one too. Now that when I'm like thinking on it, there's the possibility that we could make that happen if it's the right angle for things, right? So let's start with this. And, oh yeah. Oh, thanks, Stream Elements. You're doing your job, sort of. Yes, I love you guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for chatting in the stream. Thanks for being a great community. Look at that. Wild Nico Sanchez appeared in the chat, in the Discord. Welcome to the Discord, my friend. I'm going to give you an Arts Department community badge, or role, as the case may be. Appreciate you there. Welcome to the fun, after hours, chatting, being silly. Sometimes, anyway, when we have time to be silly, when we're not taking care of puppies or hustling the jobs. That's a good question. If you could be, if you see yourself as an animal, what kind of animal do you see yourself as? That's open to all of chat, by the way. So, you know, throw it out there. I'd like to see what people think of themselves as. And 3, 2, 1, start. We're gonna try for this right now. We're gonna go for this the forest one. So I'm actually just gonna fill this in like that, and then maybe get in like a lighter area in the center, and then very quickly move into this kind of, I mean, obviously if I was using a different brush, this would go a lot faster as far as this idea, because this is kind of overgrowth, right? This is the canopy overhead. So if I was to do this with an actual illustration, I'd be doing it differently. It's interesting because I'd like to think that I would be something cool like a jaguar or something like that, but I'd probably end up being like a ferret or something, you know, something stinky that just likes to steal stuff. Seconds. Oh my gosh. Can we pull this off? This might be a little much as far as the ideas go. Trees are hard to get in less than 2 minutes, right? At least trees that are compelling and interesting. Oh, that actually might work. So it's like big kind of waterfall in the back there. And then some other trees kind of coming out from the side. I'm gonna hit reset. I'm gonna continue on with this just a little bit so that we can kind of get the idea finished out. Rusted spotted cat. Hippo. I mean, do hippos have natural predators? They don't, do they? Like, ain't nothing killing a hippo. Those things are badass. Right, they're pretty cool. Hippos, I mean. And so when I think about it, I'd probably end up being like a manatee or something, right? Just chilling. Oh, did you guys see my my new prop? The this blue bulb here, blue ball. Oh yeah. Cammy, watch your mouth. Oh, organism. Okay. An antelope? What? That's great. Okay. Is it the ears? It's got to be the ears, right? Antelope. Antelope. Yeah, it's probably the ears. Yeah, see? It's all about the ears, I think. I mean, Can't refute it. It's an opinion, so it's valid. Yeah. Yeah, it's the ears. I love that I'm the only one that gets to use this response in chat. I mean, you could use it, but that requires quite the sub. Ain't nobody doing that. All right, let's. No, anybody else have animals that they think they would be? I'm trying to think, Cammy. I think maybe you might be like a crow, or no, like a blue jay. Yeah. Oops, that should not be that. Here, let's adjust desat, and now we can try again. Okay, start. 2 minutes. Here we go. So these big wide screens are always, I mean, they lend themselves so much to these kind of like broad strokes of landscape. But I kind of want to see if we can do something. Gotta remember to break up that shape a little bit so that we have a good set of values. Not those kind of values. And then we're just gonna smash in. No, here, let's knock this back. This one's gonna go way beyond 2 minutes, I feel. Because it kind of has to. Make it a little darker so that we can kind of pop it out from that background as having this overhead canopy of trees just broken up a little bit so that you get the sky behind them. I always really like that look. Like when I'm hiking, I like to stop under trees and look at the sky between the branches, right? There was an artist a number of years ago that did a book named that, and that kind of always stuck with me. Yeah, I think there's something, like I feel like blue jays. Yeah, you definitely would be like a blue jay, I think. And it's because blue jays are like, they're very opinionated. And I don't mean that in a bad way, Cammy. Don't take offense. But blue jays, when they want to talk to you, they will talk to you. So I'm gonna knock in all these trees. These are and then we're gonna go even darker and get some foreground trees that are I'm gonna use it to break up any type of evenness that I see. Right? So generally, I tend to bracket on these things, like either side of the composition, as if it was a shot in a movie, right? So kind of pulling you further into the frame. And you can use other things like a big log on the ground or something. Let's fallen. The rotted outside. Rotted out end, rather. And use those shadows to unify this whole foreground shape. But then take this, rotate it so that it's flat, and just add in some indications that there's a ground plane in here without breaking the unified shape at all. And then rotate this again and quickly throw in some indications of a shrubbery. I can appreciate that. Oh, and then because we did that, come back in and grab this dark again and darken down these corners so that it feels a little bit more like there's some distance in this canopy. So it's going to be shaded rather, underneath, but you're going to get that light breaking through in spots. So there you go, my friends. Speed thumbnails. Does anybody have a favorite? Let's go ahead and number them real fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, hey, Kayla, welcome. 6 and 7. 6 and 7. Okay, so you're digging like the castles and the forests and the landscapes, huh? 6, 8, and 10. So you're liking, Nico is liking the castle and the forest vibe. Anoville, 2 and 6. Okay, yeah, the sorcerer in front of the obelisk, and 6, the big dynamic triangle compositions. Came above 6 and 10. Okay, it's interesting. There's an argument in there for the strength of a triangle composition. I had an creative director, rather, wonderful human being, Peter Stark, who, 6 again, and 7, yeah. I think so with 6, I feel like it's definitely about those triangles. So we've got this big triangle shape here, right? Whoops. This big triangle shape. But then we also have this triangle shape working against it. So yeah, it's just a Jewish composition. I don't know what that means. But there's various triangles within it. And then I could play that up and start to get into this being a triangle and this being a triangle, so that it all becomes triangles, and then it gets even more strong, right? I would do that during the illustration phase, just make sure that I don't overwrite all of those implied lines and that sort of thing. And then with this one down here, I feel like there is a strong argument for this triangle and this contrast being interesting, right? Oh, I forgot. Where'd it go? Generally what I do is I come through afterwards and I grab myself a soft round brush and very quickly do some lighting to kind of pop things ever so slightly, right? And it really just kind of drives home that there is actual light sources, as well as kind of giving a bit more depth to these compositions. So that's generally the approach. It's a minute to 2 minutes for each one, and then I come back at the very end and just kind of pop it here and there. So personally, I want to investigate this one more. But that's going to be an utter redraw. Like, I feel like the idea is there. Now I have to push it so that the shapes are more dynamic and there's some visual interest. So if you don't understand what's going on here, what I'm seeing is there's a skull here inside of a helmet, and the helmet is cracked open, but then there's tentacles coming out of it. I wonder where I got the tentacles from. Right? And they're all kind of twisting around. So it's just kind of riffing off of the Cthulhu vibe that I was working on. So, yeah. And that first one, this one, is incredibly boring. This one is probably a little too uninteresting. So, yeah, I think if anything, I will investigate this one more. This one, if I could figure out some kind of narrative element to it. Good, Cammy, good. That was definitely the plan, right? Back to this real quick, and then we'll shift gears over to the Cthulhu. On this one, I feel like there's some potential there again. If I'm not just doing like some kind of like interesting landscape or something, I have to find some narrative element to it. But these two, I think, have the potential to go further. This one, I'm definitely going to do something with, because it has an illustration feel to it, with the unexplained light down here that maybe he's casting, maybe he's not, maybe it's reflecting off of a water or in the foreground or something, you know, like there's a water source here that's flowing by or something. So, yeah, I think probably these two are going to be the ones that I target to maybe move forward. But generally what I do is I just group it and name it the date. And save it. And then if I need to, I can always come back. But otherwise, I just turn it off, save the template, and when I need to get more art done, or I have a stagnant like phase, I can pop open one of hundreds of these things and look through them like a Rolodex of ideas. It's basically like a sketchbook, right? Where with sketchbooks, you just draw and you draw and you draw, and until you hit on something, but those previous drawings are still good. And when you go back and look through a sketchbook, you're like, oh wow, I forgot I had drawn this. And with just a little tweaking, I can make it into something that's overall more useful and more interesting. So that's what those are, is like a digital version of a sketchbook. So now, first and foremost, let's take a little battle royale break, shall we, my friends? If I can find my sound. Sound, please. It is a beautiful day for Battle Royale, my friends. In drops, oh hey, it's Kayla. Art, Ivaru, Rick, Anavio, Camabo, Martes, Daniel Landerman, Symbiote, Battle Goose, Nico, Sanchez, go! And, oh hey, it's Kayla made for the corner, so she could make sure not to get hit when that whole pileup happened in the center. And who's going to be the first to go? It looks like it's going to be somebody who I wasn't paying attention, followed by Ivaru and one other. Oh my god, it's happening so fast I can't even keep track at this point. There goes Rick, there goes an off-wheel. Looks like Camubo's out in the lead so far. She must have picked up a bandage somewhere. Oh, she's got people beating up on her on both sides. It's Nico and Camubo, and oh hey, it's Kayla, and oh hey, it's Kayla takes the win. Congratulations, Kayla. Do your dance, do your jump, take your gold, you're the winner. Yay! Congratulations. Everybody else, there are no losers. There's always next time, my friends. And we're back in doing the stuff. Okay, I'm gonna turn off my signature there, and then I'm gonna label it signature so that I don't actually put that on the t-shirt. Ain't nobody wants to walk around with a signature on their t-shirt, right? So, this is on black, and that's on white. In case you didn't know the difference between black and white. I'm like, thank you, Captain Obvious. So, what do you guys think? On black, on white? On black, on white. I think we can do, let's take the black one and we'll work on the color and the black one. Put this one at the top. Yeah, I know like 99.9% of the time people want nothing but black t-shirts and dark imagery, right? I mean, I'm the same way. But in the store, there is a plethora of colors should you decide to give a gift to somebody that they will never wear. I correct myself up. Okay. So, I know that what I wanted to do was some purples in the background, right? So I think what I'm going to do is with this, I'm going to do a gradient map over it, and I'm going to link it to that layer. And then we're going to grab a variety of purples here. Violets, whatever you want to call them. And we're going to find some stuff that looks cool. Is that why people wear black? I just wear black because I always have. It's kind of sad, really, when you think about it. I think this needs a little bit of depth to it, so what I'm going to do, see, and this is why I wanted to do it on color too, is to see, like, I could do it flat, or I could do it with the gradients, like what I have on him at the moment. Or I can come in and give these edges some depth, right? Indeed, you cannot go wrong with black. I mean, everybody likes a black t-shirt or, you know, that sort of stuff. Ooh, that's pretty cool looking. It's kind of ridiculous, but maybe more in the blues. So a lot of this is going to be playing around, so you might have to forgive me a little bit while we kind of feel our way through this stuff. Take this and drag it down here onto these dots, as well as these dots. And might actually have to make it a little lighter, not as sad. But because I did that, I do want to have it become a little more saturated as it drops off, if it drops off, right? So we'll go back into the saturation a little bit. There we go. So once I have that, I'll get rid of that other one that I had and reduplicate. Command or Control J is your duplicate. Alter Option is your link. And I'm looking at, the cool thing is with this gradient map on, that what I can do with the mask on it, since it's black, if I take out the gradient map at all, if I mask it out, it's going to go darker behind there, unless we have the light underneath it. So let's try that again. Let's just make it darker on top. So we'll take another layer and we'll darken it back here, and then also draw this up and make it even more blue but darker, so that we get a nice bleed happening. So this, I'm not thinking of this like a screen printed shirt, right? If it was a screen printed shirt, I would pick like 6 colors and I would be done with it. This is the process that they have available is basically full color printing. So there's no reason that I shouldn't take advantage of it, right? That is a possibility, Rick. Would you like it on the back of the hoodie? With a little arts department logo right on the pocket? That's the zip-up kind, right? Yeah, that's the zip-up kind they have. I'm definitely into it, and I will definitely get one myself. You know, Daniel and I talked about this, and it was, you know, make things that you want to wear. And so I'm making something that I might want to wear. So I'm gonna group all this stuff so that I have it, call it frame, and then group all this stuff, call it dots or stroke. Stroke. So some of this stuff is probably going to change as we bring in more colors, right? What is this? Ah, okay. pen stroke. Huh, okay. Wait, let's merge these two. Turn it off. Okay. I was thinking more like a pullover hoodie with that on the back and a logo on the front. Sure, absolutely. I tend to wear zip-up hoodies because it's California here, like Southern California, so I can unzip the front and be like, okay, a little bit more, not as warm now. But that's all I wear. Like I don't really wear jackets. I wear jackets like twice a year. So with him, that gradient is going to be pretty strong. So let's do a gradient map over him. Link it to him, of course. That's a strong indication of value right there, right? Look at that. So the colors that we put onto the dots and everything actually change the value down to less than white, but that's okay. I think it looks kind of cool. I'm going with it because it's neat and it's gonna pop on black, right? So let's try. See if we've got that. Got the blue and the purple. Blue, purple, violet. Let's see, what should we do here? Split complement. Oh, that just doesn't work when you have stuff open. Let's see. We're somewhere in this world, right? That. So, yeah, it's got those greens and yellows. I don't know about yellows. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but we'll try some greens. Let's get really saturated with that. At least in the dark, right? It would just look like a poster, wouldn't it? With Vanta Black. Let's put something in for the middle. Let's get a little more into the blues, I think. But let's lighten it up considerably. So let's see what happens if we pull in some yellows. I mean, it's all gonna pop really well because it's basically a split complement, right? We've got like the two colors on either side. You look at that color wheel, and that's essentially what we're using right there. You can even probably go a little more orangey with that. Right? Then pop in something really light. Let's pull this up a little bit and add in another dark so we actually get some like pretty solid transitional tones here. Essentially, that blue is playing the role of what would be, if it was like a skull, what would be a yellowish orange, right? But I don't think that's as strong as far as the complement goes, right? Bring that green down in saturation. I'm all for really crazy saturations, but I feel like we might gain a little something for having saturation as a pop element, right? Like that background stuff is really saturated and poppy. Not completely sold on that yet, so might go with blues instead. Now you know what I can do. So I can draw that down, say okay, and then add a little bit more darks down into this area so that it kind of grips those greens a little better, those dark greens, right? So these guys I've always seen pretty much since the get-go as like a turquoise, like so. Ah, there we go. Got those speculars under that gradient map because it was on top of them for a second there. So now you got those little pops going up down into the body. You can see them, right? These little bad boys. Speculars are fun. So now that I have that, I am going to link yet another gradient map to it. In fact, I'm just going to duplicate this one. And then with this one, I'm just going to allow it to live over that other one, and I'm going to recolor it. And then mask it out. I had to hit pause because happy accidents, right? So looks cool. Green looks good, nice and poppy. Whoa, I don't know. Okay, let's try and mask it out and see what happens, because it might be really cool with once I've masked out the parts that are going to be green. So let's give it a try, and if it doesn't work, then we may actually back up to this one and stick with it, because I kind of like that blue-purple kind of design. So we're going to turn off pressure sensitivity, and we're just going to draw out everything that we want to turn to the green. And that's going to be everything that is the top plane, or top and side planes of these tentacles. And while it may be a subtle difference, it is a difference. We're 100% black there. Okay, just making sure. So this is pretty quick and dirty. So I'll give this a once over before I send it off to a printer or anything, to make sure that all this stuff is clean. Oh, no wonder. Shape dynamics, please. Thank you. Sometimes you want to have control with shape dynamics, so you can just press a little harder and get a little tiny smidge of something out of the way. So we'll get this masked out, and then you guys can tell me what you think looks better, because I do value your opinions. I think you guys have a very good eye. So most of the things that you guys have said, hey, do that, and I've done it, man, have I been happy with. You guys are great art directors, not gonna lie. I appreciate you. I realized I have not posted up the links in a while. So there's the links, my friend. That has everything, including the Discord, the YouTube, and many other ways to connect and check out what's going on besides the live stream. I don't know, leaning towards it being that violet color. It's feeling pretty strong to me compared to this green. Like, the green works, but I feel like the violet just kind of, it's so unified. And sometimes with clothing, too many colors equals just too much, you know? I mean, with art in general, too many colors. And, you know, keep it unified. As they say, keep it simple, stupid. So if anybody in chat is not subscribed and they have their Amazon Prime subscription, don't forget that you can use that on your favorite streamers. I'm not saying me, I'm just saying you do have that available to you. Totally not my pitch, promise. let's just take it all out. Take it all out. Okay, now we can just knock it. Whoa. No? See? See? ¿A dónde? Yep. Yep, yep, yep. Yep, yep, yep. Okay, so that's a thing. And what we'll do is we'll duplicate that. We'll delete the layer mask and we'll turn it off. And we'll have that there. We're gonna finish up the eye part so everything is cohesive. And then we will come back and check it out. Do we want to do this? Adjust hue sat. I think white works. Gives it a little pop, right? And I think we'll probably leave the white around the edges, right? I mean, we could technically do that, but then we also have to get those top strokes too. You can see the white that I put over the top of it. There we go. Okay, so let's get into this eye. Oh wait, let's group up the body first, right? White stroke, and then I mean, all of this technically is the body, so we'll group all that, call it body. And is it a body? Is it a skull? I don't know. You tell me. Okay. The original what? Well, there will be a gray version, there will be a color version, and there will be a white version, meaning like a grayscale on white with the black dots. And I am being very purposefully over the top with some of these colors. Because when you put these colors on a black shirt, they super pop. There will be options, Cammy. Do not worry. And we are still playing at the moment, so... This is the... Okay. So with this one, we'll throw a gradient map in there because there's about 3 different tones within that eye. So this is just seeing if there's something more interesting I can do. And I think there is, so. So the question is, on the body, unified color or complement? Unified color or complement? I'm thinking complement, quite honestly. Thank you, Cami, for that hydration redemption. Much appreciated. So does anybody else have opinions on this matter? Let's do this. Let's duplicate this layer and turn that off. So, better 1 or better 2? As the ophthalmologist? The eye doctor? Better 1 or better 2? 1 or 2? One or 2? I'm leaning towards 1. With maybe a few changes. First and foremost, shade some of these undersides so that you get some kind of fallback under there. That the foreground and background kind of separate a little bit. I know you do, Cami. Then on top of this, we can do this. Co-signing, that's a big step right there. So we got some nice, interesting colors happening in there. We'll lighten up the center and then darken out the edge. No, that's not gonna work. It has to be in overlay mode. Darken those edges a little. Maybe even, so that's a normal layer. Maybe even put a little bit of whoa, a little. Yeah. Apparently this just doesn't work under a little at all. There's just no such thing as a little for this airbrush. Let's just give it a little bit more depth, right? So that the eye sockets kind of pull forward a little bit more. The eyes be a slightly darker shade of teal to stand out better from the main color of the body. Which eyes, Anavio? Do you mean the inside eyes? These guys? These ones? The tentacle eyes. I think we're getting some of that from yeah, let's see. Could always do that so they're actually light. I feel like that pops really well. Yeah, I kind of like the white. What do you think? What do y'all think, my art directors? I'm looking down at this because this is gonna be like the icon that we all see on the store, right? So I could bring it down so that it's not perfectly white. And then there's also the question of how does that stroke look? Is it better teal or is it better white? And it's got a really nice pop to it when it's white. Yeah, me too. It just makes it feel more graphic, right? I mean, like I like the teal as kind of a unifying element, but it makes it pop off the page more without the teal. Hey yo, Mr. Voodoo. Welcome back to the arts department, my friend. Thank you for the save. Save I shall. Yeah. So this is the point where like all the pieces are in place. So now this is like balancing act to try and find what has the most kind of punch to it, right? Hold on a second. Let's use that. I'm gonna adjust this to. I want to make it the same color as the eye. Yeah, I think that's about right. Yeah. Now, I think for unification, it's going to have to be white. Just got back from a ritual, Mr. Voodoo. I mean, your name is Mr. Voodoo, so I'm assuming it was some kind of voodoo ritual. And Cammy, yes, thank you. I mean, that's the process. It's like you take it too far until you break it, and then you kind of dial it back until you find what works, right? And obviously, there's going to be more cleanup so that it's a finished product by the time I put it up there for everybody. So, interestingly enough, I feel like that the blue in the back is now out of place, right? You guys feel me on that? Like, it was a good start, but I feel like it starts to get a little lost in the weeds. Right? There's just too much going on with it. Yeah. I think perhaps it's strongest at like black on black, right? Oh, ayahuasca. Right on. Welcome back to this reality. Cheers to you, my friend. I don't know that that's voodoo, but it's certainly a something. Something different, right? Yeah, it's definitely not voodoo. Since we're not going to be using this, let's take this layer and use it on top of the stars inside of the eye and see what that does. No, that's not bad. Yeah, because it pushes those back so they're not competing with the outside, right? Yeah, Mr. Voodoo, I've read some stuff about it. It's intriguing, and I think, you know, as far as like helping people with issues that they might have or helping them to progress through life, definitely a good thing. Hey, Stream Elements coming in clutch with its actual job. Good job, Stream Elements. Yeah. So another thing we can check, we can get rid of that. I don't like leaving a lot of extraneous layers around because that's then if you open it later, you'll see that I'll right click and mark it as a red layer, and that's to remind myself later on that it's not something that was ever on. But I try to get rid of things that I know I'm not going to be using. Like as I decided. That way I'm not dealing with layer bloat and all that stuff. Especially with this kind of stuff. So now I wanted to go back and I wanted to check the white stroke and turn off these. Nah, I think it definitely works better with that color because it pulls them back again, right? So it's not competing with the foreground elements. So how was your ceremony, Mr. Voodoo? Did it help you? I mean, what did they call it? The doors of consciousness? Did you unlock the doors of consciousness and come to some realizations or anything? Right on. Good for you, man. Good for you. It's always nice. Okay. So, looking at this, I need to do some adjustments to the body, I think. The extra shadows that I put in, right? Oops, don't. It's these guys? No, there's more. Here we go. These guys, yeah. So let's get in here and kind of want to get some shadow sides on these horns. Oh, I'm not using dark as why. Like, why isn't that working? Just so that we have a uniformity of the ideas about light, right? It's always important, even in this kind of stuff where it's design oriented. And I'm gonna come back in and erase out some hard edges because these are cast shadows down here. Just make sure that everything is unified in the strokes that are being applied and the use of them, right? And come back in and erase out a little bit down here, give it a little bit of pop on that edge as if it was catching some light, right? Like so. Race into it, give it some depth, clean that up there. This one here, oh, that's on this layer. So clean that. I'm gonna make that foreground element rather flat. I'm actually gonna mask out a little bit of it, just in case, because I'm not sure yet on this, but I'm going to so I'll mask it out and see what it changes. So, in looking at these, the ones on the horns, I feel like are drawing a little much attention. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull them off that layer, put them onto another layer that's linked, and then I'm just gonna bring the transparency down a little bit. So that there's a value change there, but it's not as drastic as it was. And on yet another layer, so now we're really getting into it. We're doing the little dialy things, right? These are the things that are only going to be on the color version too. The black and white version is not going to have this. Because the black and white version, I'm going for more of a flat approach. Not perfectly flat, mind you, but just flat enough to feel kind of graphic, right? On that layer, since that layer is turned down, and give a little bit of an underplane under there. And again, chisel out some strokes so it's not so airbrushy. So, just checking. What that? Whoa. Ah, thank you for the $100 or 100 bits, my friend. $100. 100 biddies. Joby Door coming in with the cheer. Appreciate that, my friend. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it was I don't normally put that much time into like a drawing, so it was kind of fun, you know? Woohoo. Digging the hype, my friend. Yeah, man, definitely. It's probably, it's gonna have to be a rectangular sticker. I don't think I would be able to get them to do a very good like cutout sticker of it. But I can try. I'll send it up there and see what happens. But with all these dots around the outside, I am sure they will fuck it up. But it will definitely be a t-shirt of the black variety, since it looks so nice on black. Then we'll have the on white version, and then we will have the on black version. So grayscale, white, and color. I think it's fun. Everybody, if you don't already follow Joby, I highly recommend checking him out. He does some great art. He also does a really great podcast, and he's just an all-around nice guy. So highly recommend giving him a follow. Check him out. See if he's your speed with his smooth tones. I always like listening to him when I work, as I'm like drawing, and the stream's up here. I'm drawing. Like, yeah, dude, good voice. The dulcet tones of Joby. Enjoy your lurk, Joby Door. Thank you again. So, one thing I want to try is on not a color dodge layer, maybe a screen layer. Put in some lights. And just dust in a bit of light behind this eye. Did that even work? What's happening? Oh, that's the eraser. It didn't work. Hi, I'm a professional. Let's try that again. Set it to screen. We're on the brush. The brush is big. All right, there you go. It's on the wrong layer. Body. Bring that screen layer down a bit. Not too much, Just a touch, right? I think that works. So, yeah. I think that's a finished design, folks. What do you think? You throw my signature on there like a tool. There we go. Might need some minuscule tweaking before I put it up, but I think this is what we're gonna get, and this is gonna go into the merch shop, which you can find at the links, obviously. It's a thing. It's pretty excited about it. This one is thanks to our good friend Rick. Thank you, Rick, for the wonderful suggestion. I believe you suggested this on Monday when I was feeling like crap and out of sorts, and you were like, do a thing. I was like, do a thing, I'll do a thing. Hell yeah. So, I think Rick's gonna get a personalized discount code for this one, because he was the one that spawned the amazing interest in it. Well, hey, I appreciate the randomness off the top of your head. In fact, I appreciate all you guys helping to steer this ship and making cool shit. Like, thank you very much for sticking around for this kind of stuff and pushing to do, pushing me to do stuff every evening that we're here. That's Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, as you all know. And coming out with good stuff, right? Yeah. So I think, yeah, Mr. Voodoo, I feel you on that one. I don't even drink beer, and right now I would just go out and have a beer, quite honestly. It'd be fun to get everybody from the arts department together, hanging out, chatting, making art, talking shop, talking shit, talking all kinds of stuff, just being social in real life. I mean, we're all over the world, so it's going to be a little challenging, but, you know, we'll make it happen. You are not, Rick. And I imagine that when the opportunity arises and we do have a get-together, I'll be able to get like Cryomera and Izzy and a bunch of other people that are at least within driving distance, and we can all have a weekend or something where we just call it a convention. Oh no, it's a convention. It's a tax write-off for artists. We'd all just get together and hang out. Just make art, talk shop, paint, whatever. Give each other, what he calls them, tips and tricks, and do workshops. Like, this is how you paint with beer. This is how you paint with whiskey. So, since all of this is pretty much done, I wanted to maybe get into, let's do this. Wait, what happened? Why is it keeps doing that, where it's doing like multiple new images? Let's do the verticals again, and we'll put this one over here, and we'll leave that up for people to look at. But I wanted to, because the idea that I was sketching earlier kind of is along these same lines, I want to get it out of my head before I forget. So I think, do a little bit of doodling here before the end of the stream. In fact, here, let's put Cthulhu over here and Untitled over here. And you all can look at it whilst we very quickly smash out this new idea. So it was either going to be this kind of from the side with the tentacles coming out and twisting around, but I wanted to do something with the tentacles where they're like tentacles coming off of tentacles kind of vibe. So you don't know, like they're a little bit thicker and more kind of creepy. So we're using the same iconography, but it's shifted from being, maybe it's like somebody that this god came after who was in space, right? Like his spacesuit cracked and Cthulhu got inside and started taking over his body. See, a lot of this stuff is for me is oftentimes, not all the time, but oftentimes fairly narrative driven. Like if I get into a story, I tend to want to come back to that and investigate it some more in one way or another, be it a visual thing or writing, right? If comics didn't take so fucking long to draw, then I would definitely be into comic books, graphic novels. There was a period of time where all I wanted to do was be a comic book artist. But the more that I did them, the more I realized that they're like, it takes so long to get a comic book done. It was just, it felt like, from concept to completion, 30 pages is like 30 days of drawing. If you're only doing the pencils and you're handing it off to somebody to ink and color and letter and all that stuff. So, and like the amount that you can tell in 30 pages, I mean, granted, you could give like the God overview where you're like, and then the world was created, and you have, solar system in your drawing or something. But if you really want to get into characters and cool stories and all that, then it's going to take you hundreds and hundreds of pages to do a graphic novel. So I fell out of love with the medium on an artistic level, meaning for me personally doing them. Reading them and seeing what other people do with them, amazing. Does anybody here read comics at all? What are you reading, Rick? I haven't read them in so long that I don't know, like... I mean, I still, like, read a bunch of, what is it, comic book, or CBR.com. A bunch of their stuff. I'll read, like, articles and stuff like that, but they don't really keep up on a whole ton of stuff. Meaning, it's not like they're covering... like what's going on in the world of comics as far as like plot lines and stuff. Cool. Indie stuff. I'm assuming that that the big comics are just not worth reading anymore. God, thank you, Daniel Landerman. I appreciate that, my brother. Yeah, I think the Cthulhu guy, this guy on the right, I think he's done. I was just keeping him up there so people could see what our next target might be. Right on, Martez. Hey guys, I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. Couldn't have done it without your love and support and your steering me. Really, Roberta? That's cool. Nice. Yeah, you know, I feel like indie teams, I mean, since the 90s, they've been where it's at, right? Granted, there's something to be said for superheroes and the genre and the stories that people can tell within those, but some of the best like superhero stories are the Elseworlds and stuff, right? And then outside of that, like indie people just, man, that's where the imagination is, right? I hate the way that song ends. It always makes me think something glitched out. Yeah, it's, you know, you really have to love comics to do that stuff, right? You have to love them, and you have to have the... You gotta not have the student loans that I have because it takes so long to do that the return on investment, the return on time it's pretty bad. I have close friends that have done it for years, and they do it because they're super passionate about it, and it's like extracurricular activity for them. Yeah, those Critical Role ones are drawn really well too. I like the style in those. Digging that stuff a lot. It's too bad because it's such a good medium. It's just too bad that there's not, I mean, I think part of it is, you know, the lack of readership, right? So it's not like it was in the 90s where they're selling huge amounts of books. So it's hard to to get what they were getting back then. But there should be more of it, right? So I feel like if Diamond hadn't been so tight on distribution, or I don't know, you know, that's the finger pointing, obviously. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm just talking shit. Don't listen to me. But I feel like if there was a better distribution model, like, you know, like a subscription service where you could make good money on it and it had legs, then we might be in a very different place with graphic novels, because of how accessible like Photoshop and applications are. In comes the novel wheel. Rage! Right, so, you know, Diamond is the RIAA of comic books, just, you know, standing in people's way rather than facilitating the craft, the art, right? Nice, Roberta. That's cool. That's way cool. For everybody in Twitch chat, there is the Discord. Y'all can join us over there after hours. Love to have you join the crew. Oh my gosh, we totally forgot the 9 p.m. Battle Royale. I am so sorry, my friends. Should we do that now? And then get back to our discussion very quickly about comics, because it's fun. Beautiful day for a battle royale. In drops Sarah, Art, Daniel Landerman, and Ovwheel, Mr. Voodoo, Kemi, Symbiote, Battle Goose, Evaru, Joby Dor, Rick, and Martest. It's a big group tonight. Go! Breaking into 3 groups, heading for the corners. Battle Goose coming after Cammy. Symbiote coming after Battle Goose. It's not looking good for Rick. Rick's pretty hurt there. He might be the first to go down if Evaru turns around and slaps him once. And don't know who the first was to go, but it happened on the right and it happened on the left. Oh god, the humanity. The Avatar manity. I don't know what it is. It's something. And Daniel and an Ovwheel. Boom! Daniel takes out an Ovwheel. Battle Goose making a break for the bandage. No, changes his mind and gets slapped by Sarah. Sarah turns on Daniel, makes a run for the bandage. I don't know, Daniel, it's looking bad. Oh yeah, Sarah's gonna take him out right here. Boom! There goes the Daniel. And she's going for Symbiote now. And she's going for another bandage. Oh! And it is Sarah for the win. Oh yeah, congratulations, Sarah. That was a nice win. That was a good battle. Thanks for playing along, friends. Sarah, you now have 200 gold with which to hug or gamble or lay down bombs or any number of things in the chat. Anybody else that is not a follower or not on Twitch, come over to twitch.tv/arturkel and hit the follow button, and you can set up a stream avatar and join us there for the next Battle Royale. So, comics. I do think that the Kickstarter model is pretty awesome. I think it's unfortunate that it is it's come to that though, right? Like where primarily artists, when they want to do something, they have to kickstart it, right? And that includes sketchbooks and all that kind of stuff. I like this diagonal that this is making, so I'm gonna try and keep it. But maybe there's something back here, like, I don't know, some kind of... Oh, congratulations, Sarah, on your first big win. That's awesome. Yeah, I wish there was a different way for artists to facilitate this stuff. That there was, you know, like, I feel like back in the day, Image was open to a lot more indie stuff. And it's, I don't know, maybe it's tapered off, maybe it hasn't, but I feel like more often than not, I hear people talking about how they're kickstarting something, not how they're being published by Image Comics, you know? I mean, I guess on a control level, it's a good thing because it's, you know, concept to completion, it's your baby, right? Which, I mean, ultimately, if I'm creating something, I want complete control over it when it comes to, you know, distribution and all that stuff. Plus, I think there's probably a higher profit margin in that. Don't quote me on that because I'm not positive, but it's kind of like, you look at it like there's a higher profit margin, but there's a number of things that a publisher is supposed to do for you. They're supposed to advertise, they're supposed to get your name out there, they're supposed to, you know, bring in all of their readers that they already have and push it in other ways, right? But that's not necessarily always true, right? So I started thinking about this in terms of not as much like our modern spacefaring stuff, but like Warframe. Oh, cool. Yeah, hopefully that'll push that stuff out into people's view some more. You know. Roberta, you should come by the Discord and join us and drop some links to your stuff so that we know when it's live, so that communities can support one another. Let's see here. Let's do this. I'm gonna pop over to Facebook because Facebook is stupid. And you can find the Discord invite there, Roberta. And in the self-promotion area, you can dump your information on the Kickstarter. That'd be great. So like I was saying, thinking about this in terms of a little bit different design. So like not as much our modern ideas of an astronaut, but like some kind of organic spacesuit kind of design. do you call it? Warframe has these, I mean, all of the Warframes are these organic frames, right? And everything, for the most part, you don't get a lot of like clunky design in that game. It all kind of flows together. It's got an interesting shape language. And so I'm thinking about that a little bit as I'm doing this stuff, where it feels kind of like all of the shapes are grown more than like pieced together, right? Until you get into like armor plating on the Warframes, and then you can have additional things that are like on top of it. So just trying to think of something that's interesting shape-wise, like organic in nature. So, using the cues from this guy with the little nubbins on it, right? Some spikes, some nubbins. I just like saying that word. Nubbins. I feel like I'm gonna have to do a Cthulhu emote of some sort. Right? Elder God of Art. I don't know what it would be. I'm gonna have to think on that for a bit. Almost feels like dreads for this guy, right? Ooh, maybe that's an eye. It's got it like an eye shape. Stream avatars. When I look at something and I'm like, what did I draw? I don't know. Just put in some marks until it makes sense. Daniel, are you still here this evening? Or are you painting right now? So I think earlier you missed the question of if you were an animal, like what animal do you see yourself as? And I am I'm wondering what you see yourself as. I'm basically just looking at like shapes and how to interlock them all into something interesting right now. I think Daniel ignored my question. He was like, don't ask me stupid questions. Okay, so you've known me for long enough to call out what I would be. So what would I be? I know that was for you. Folks, this is Daniel Landerman. Seriously, that's ridiculous. There. Seriously, that's straight out of anime. Are you saying I have a temper? I'm all right. I mean, I'll take it. Wolverines are badass, you know. But, you know. Calling me out on stream. I asked for it. Good job, sir. They are dope. It's a good one. It's angry little assholes. Maybe it's more like this stuff. What do they call it? Kirby dots? Yeah, I think it might be more Kirby dots. Kind of like in, especially for design, it kind of compartmentalizes it, right? Pointillism. Who knew that would come in handy? Whoops. Back to the other rush. What? Oh, I forgot I'm doing this like full size already, like in the sketch phase. Whoops. I'm a professional, folks. Promise. If you are new to the stream and you're just lurking, smash that follow button. I'd like to have new friends. Always nice to grow the community with like minds. I mean, no pressure or anything, but you know. Think about it. Get back to me. Did anybody else see that Twitch released a statement about all the DMCA things? Basically saying, yeah, we fucked up and you guys have to deal with it. I think it's kind of funny. But there's some people that are freaking out right now. They think it's going to be the end of Twitch. So I'm looking at this flow, right? So I've got this flow, wraps around, that brings you back towards the eyes. And I think that's pretty good. But what I wanted to have was some additional elements that were like hoses. But I'm not sure if that's going to break it up too much and then be too much, right? So you so many things that it's just too much to design-wise, too many things going on in one image, right? Like I said earlier, keep it simple, stupid. I don't know if I can get that to work. Right now I'm even thinking of stuff in like just overall like shape, how it is going to block out on a page, right? Like looking for places that I can have light spots amongst all of this stuff. So I feel like it's going to be pretty dark when I finally get to the point where it's colored. Not positive on that, but maybe. Thinking about reflective surfaces, how to represent that without it being boring, and tie it into the shape language, I think. Although, what might be interesting back here is another kind of circular element. On this helmet. It's all just design stuff, right? Stars, indeed. Do you mean like emblems of stars or reflected stars? Because that would be, reflected stars would be here, right? Turn off the pressure sensitivity. And a little bit there, but we're gonna have, like, it's gonna be somewhat transparent. I don't know, maybe it's, when you get into ink, it's very finicky. Like, you have to choose one thing to say with it, right? So if I darken this a bit, then come back in, I can show that these are stars a little more clearly. Right? But then that means this down here has got to be darker too, because that's all glass. You get a little bit of reflection in this. Actually, you get more reflection because it'd be darker because you're seeing inside the suit a little bit. So getting at these pieces that are coming off of them again, since we lost a lot of it in the doing of the thing. Turn this transfer off and just erase out these shapes entirely. That's why it wasn't working, because it doesn't turn off for some reason. I hate that with Photoshop. Like, sometimes you turn it off up here, the pressure sensitivity, and it just doesn't turn off in the settings. Like, well, then what's the point of having the little button up there? Nope. So this damage stuff flying off of them could also read like stars if it's just particulates, right? Like it's dots within the dots. one's gonna tuck under that one, and that one's coming off of that one. Not feeling that eye, so I'm gonna pull that out and turn it into another tentacle, I think, coming up that way. No, I feel like that might be messing with it a little bit, so I'm going to take it out there, have it wrap back that way a little bit more. Gotta keep that flow going, right? Oh, Rick, did you just look up and see that this is called Untitled? Thank you for redeeming save now. I appreciate that very much. That would have sucked. See? I don't know what I'd do without you guys. Keeping me legit. This is more the underside, so that we break up the shape some more with some suckers, right? Like it's kind of rolling out. Rolling out. I don't know what that means, but it's rolling out. Roll out. Right? Auto Cthulhu's roll out. Decepticthulhu's from the planet Cthulhu Khan. Cthulhu Khan. Would you go? Oh no, that's underside, so that is gonna have suckers. I mean, you'll get it back afterwards. So, I'm thinking that this is a theme that I'm probably going to revisit a few times. until I find just the right sketch. I like this one, but I had another one in mind also. That is, I mean, it's the same thing, it's just from a different angle. And I want to give it a try. But I don't want to repeat too much on stream, so I may just do it in my copious amounts of spare time. Whatever the fuck that is. Sometime off stream when I have a moment. Because the idea, I feel like there's more of kind of a scream thing happening with the skull. Like right now he feels very passive, and I may want to make it more like the jaw is open, you can see that, and as if his head is back and he's screaming into the cosmos or something. I can kind of see it in my head, so it really took putting something together. Yeah, I really think that might be more. I mean, it might feel a little bit too much like this one that we already did, with the tentacles coming out of the mouth. That's why I kind of wanted to have it like flowing out of the, as if it was inside the suit with him. It was a physical thing in there, right? But there's a multitude of ways to angle in on this particular subject and the idea behind it, and I like this one, but I feel like it's one of those where I'm like, okay, it's there and I can do better, right? So we took it from this to this, and those are both the same things, but one is just the initial idea to get the idea down, and another is pushing it further. So I feel like I can push it even further now and get more kind of emotion out of it, does that make sense? Emotion? Aggression? Dynamism? I don't know. I feel like it's strong, but it's lacking the je ne sais quoi. Yeah, it is fair enough, Will, but they're so close together. Like, I don't want you guys to get bored, like, looking at the same drawing again and again, right? So, I am enjoying it because it's design challenges and all that stuff, but I want to make sure that you guys are having fun watching what I'm doing and participating and, you know, helping to steer the ship. So, depending, Friday maybe another sketch of this, or it may be some pixel art, because I feel like I talked about that so much with Battle Goose, and I really want to get in to showing you guys some other techniques and stuff, right? Like, you guys have seen like the straight inking and coloring and gradient maps and stuff like that. So now, like, what are some other things that I can show you guys that I do? And there's a lot of them. So, you know, and I'm gonna be here for a while. This is long haul. Hopefully you're here too. Not tonight, I mean in general. So, you know, we'll be repeating ourselves. There'll be some drawings that seem very similar to other drawings. I'm okay with that. Hopefully you're okay with that. But I'd like to show you guys some pixel art and stuff. And hopefully Battle Goose drops in and he can throw some ideas at me too. Hell, maybe we'll do this as a pixel art thing. Just like little tiny, like 20, or what do you call it, 32 by 32 Cthulhu floating in space, dude. But other than that, I think I'm gonna call it an evening. I will be back Friday. I'm here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1900 hours. And you can find all the information otherwise at those links if you'd like to join the Discord and be a part of the community. If you go to YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you're here, hit the follow button. If you're on Twitter or Instagram, do those too. All the things with blah, 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 and become a part of the community and pitch in on some of this stuff. Love to hear from you. That being said, good night, all of my friends. Thank you for being here. It was wonderful to get this done with you. I am stoked. I'm excited to get it up. I want to make sure that I go over it some more and clean up things and make sure that it's ready. I'll let you know on the Discord when it's actually live and up there. Otherwise, have a wonderful Thursday, and we will see you Friday. I love you all. Love one another. Be kind to each other. That is all from the Arts Department. Keep drawing, and we will see you next time.